I've always said I want my daughter's partner, if she ends up marrying a man, to say, "Man, your dad, I've watched some of your dad's stuff. It really helped me today." And then she come back and say, "Dad, he was saying how you had one of your videos really helped him, or he's tapped into one of your meetup groups, or he went to one of your conferences." Can you think as a man any greater feeling than that? Then it lives with her forever. I'm gone, and it's still there. That for me is when they talk about legacy and purpose and being and who are you. Can't think of anything greater.
That's powerful. Very
I
powerful.
can't think of anything greater. I've tried. I questioned, but I can leave 2 million, 3 million, 5 million in the bank for her. She won't want that. She just wants to know my dad's a good man.
Yeah, that's powerful. Powerful, Naroop. And I hear you because I was blessed to become a grandfather for the first time
Wow.
just 3 months ago. 5 children and now a granddaughter. And the amazing thing about new life, it never gets any less miraculous.
Mm.
I sat there hovering like a bad smell outside the maternity ward, and when I was able to go in and embrace this new life, my daughter's daughter,
Mm.
it was the same feeling that I had when I held my daughter, and my understanding of the beauty and the power and the importance of that is nowhere near what it is now at this age. I fathered my eldest daughter at 19 when she was born, 18 when she was conceived, where on reflection, I was just a boy myself.
What was that like at that time? Were you scared, anxious, excited?
No, just obnoxious. Not obnoxious, kind of the way that I was stepping into the world, I didn't understand the magnitude of it.
Mm.
What I did know was that I wanted to do it right. And that drew in a lot of comparisons with my own upbringing, with what dad and mum did for me. So, I mean, the circumstances with how my daughter was conceived wasn't planned. It wasn't according to the Christian beliefs that I held and hold and all the rest of it. And I'd actually broken up with her mum for a short period of time, and then she came back and said I'm pregnant, and I was like, wow, 18, just signed my first professional contract at Blackpool. And so in my heart, I wanted to do it right. I was like, to do it right, we need to get married, we need to move in together, we need to do all these things. And so my heart wanted to do that and took steps to do that. I proposed to Elise and we moved in together. The reality was that I was a young kid, a bit of arrogance, who was chasing his dream, wanted to have his cake and eat it, And so when I got this move down to London, again, this is that point of reflection where I've got to be brutally honest about my motivations, At that point, at 20 years of age, I didn't want to be a young dad.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a footballer. And I wanted to go without restriction wherever football took me. So when I moved down to London, I separated from Fran's mum, and I thought that me sending them money every month, a lot of money every month, was me doing my job as a father because, I didn't have any money, so she's not going to want for anything. Yeah, well, it's amazing what we can tell ourselves to justify our actions, and at 20 years of age, like, yeah, she'll be right. That's me doing my job as a father. I've never hit her. I've never shouted at her. She's going to have loads of money. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then I go off chasing my dream. The reality of it is I abdicated my responsibilities as a father, So when I do go down to London and then I get this knee injury and football's potentially over for me, not only have I lost all that identity as a footballer and my value as that, I've also lost that notion of me being a father to my daughter.
Mm.
Even though it was warped and only in finance, that was what I had lined up as me being a dad to her. So that loss of identity and that feeling of failure was massively compounded because not only had I physically abandoned her, now I'm going to financially abandon her as well. So that all plays out. I'm alive, and I come back, but still in my head, sending money is me being a dad. And then, I meet my ex-wife. We do get married, and we have 2 children, and I've evolved a little bit by then. I'm in my mid-20s, and again, I raised them according to my values in that I will never strike my children. I don't want them to live in fear of me. I want them to make independent choices. It's good. But still, I'm heavily dependent on materialism. And it was the same with my relationship with my ex-wife. If anything went wrong, then I had to buy my way out of it, or I had to win my way out of it. So, and it's got to the point where presents were cars. You got a car for Mother's Day. I'm like, who does that? Just a stupid, not stupid, but someone who's struggling with what a relationship should be. More suicide attempts, and I start being honest with myself, and I see that relationship with my ex-wife isn't right for me. The only reason I was staying in there at that point at the end was for my children.
Mm.
And in my head, I've been telling myself for 2 or 3 years, when the kids are 18, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And when everything's in here, it destroyed me. There was a helplessness, a futility, a why am I doing this, that led to more outbursts of ridiculous behavior that I felt shameful for and all the rest. And I need to feed this back into me wetting the bed as a kid. What wetting the bed as a kid did for me, it put me in a redemption cycle.
Okay.
Every day I left the house, I pissed off my mum, so I had to redeem myself and bring something home. And that left, we talked about what subconsciously embeds in. I lived not just for approval, but also for win, loss, success, fail. And I needed both. I needed to fail to redeem myself and win someone back. And so middle ground was horrendous for me. It was anathema. So in that relationship, even when I've now got 3 children, if things were all right, I'm incredibly uncomfortable.
That's so interesting. It's almost like a toxic relationship when you're with a partner who's had trauma when they're younger, and they only feel comfortable when they're at the bottom or the top.
Yes.
If it's stable, like that's not right. I either need to be fighting, or we need to be making up and having mad sex, and like that
it.
feeling. I need that feeling, and that's so interesting.
So when I was in the middle bit,
Yeah.
I would, if I couldn't see a way to win and achieve the high,
Wow.
I had to contrive a failure.
Wow.
So I would, and I knew I would mess up. Like, right, I'm going out this weekend. And my wife be ringing about, no, I'll leave that. I'll just make up on Tuesday, Wednesday, so that I'm still getting that cycle of behavior because it meets my needs.
But this ties back into this idea of understanding yourself, because you can check yourself now, can't you, and say, I know where I am. I know why I'm doing this. I know what obviously you've worked through it now, but with that knowledge.
Even more than that, I don't need that cycle anymore.
Yeah. I love that, man.
I don't need that cycle anymore. I can operate it in challenge when things are all right and when things are amazing. Because the way that I operate now, I'm present for them all.